Hi, it's Jonathan here from Boom Instructor Training, and on this video we'll be considering the reasons why a pupil might get too close to parked vehicles, and we call this adequate clearance. Before this, I'll just quickly mention my ADI Part 2 and Part 3 video tutorials, which are available to buy on my website. There's a link in the top comment. And these will explain and demonstrate the skills you need to pass these tests. Also, there's 5 45-minute Part 3 test lesson demonstrations, which you can buy separately. And if you'd like to talk to me in depth, then you can arrange a video call over my website. The lesson that you will learn from watching this video is that it's really important to understand why a mistake happens. You need to understand the cause of a mistake. So, why would a pupil get too close to a parked car? Firstly, do they know how much clearance they should be allowing? Of course, this should be 1 meter or the width of a car door. For the purpose of this discussion, let's assume the pupil does understand they should be allowing 1 meter's clearance, and they also understand what 1 meter looks like, so they can judge the distance of 1 meter or the width of a car door. It's just that in this example, they're not doing this. Therefore, you need to explore what is causing this mistake to happen. Let's have a look at an example. So, driving along the road, we can see there are parked cars on the left, there's no approaching vehicles, and there's plenty of room. But whoa, look at that, far too close to the side of those parked vehicles. Let's have another look. Driving along the road, you'll notice there's no approaching traffic, but look how close the pupil gets to the parked cars. It's your job as the driving instructor to work out why this is happening. What is the cause of this mistake? Sometimes road positioning mistakes can be caused by the pupil being too tense. The pupil's shoulders, arms, and hands are tense, and the pupil is gripping the wheel really tightly, and this is affecting their ability to steer and maintain control over the direction of the car. So have a look at your pupil's body language. It might be they just need to relax and loosen the grip of the steering wheel, and this will allow them more control over the steering and direction of the car. However, in this example, let's assume this isn't the case. So, what else could cause this mistake? It's more than likely an awareness and planning problem. When you're driving, you look, plan, and scan. You'll keep your eyes moving. You'll look into the far, mid, and near distance. You will scan to the left and to the right. You will be aware of any upcoming hazards, and also you'll be aware where your car is currently positioned on the road. And this is because you are fully aware of your surroundings. The chances are this pupil isn't fully aware of their surroundings. The important question for you to ask your pupil when this mistake happens is, where were you looking? Let's pause the clip. Now, of course, when you are teaching pupils and you can see this mistake happening, then you would need to verbally or physically intervene to prevent the pupil from getting too close to the side of the parked car. And then you should discuss this with your pupil. Maybe on the move, or maybe pull over to discuss this. I'd be tempted to pull over, providing we have enough time and providing there's somewhere convenient to pull up. And then you would want to start a discussion. You would discuss what happened. Of course, the pupil was too close to the parked car. You could then discuss the risks associated with getting too close to a parked car, and then discuss why this happened. To help establish the cause of the mistake, you could ask your pupil, where were you looking as you was approaching the parked car? Maybe on approach to the parked cars, the pupil was spending too long looking in their mirrors. They were dwelling on the mirrors, therefore they weren't looking and planning ahead, so they lost sight of their road position. Or maybe the pupil was spending too long just looking at the parked car, and therefore they were drifting towards it. Or it's possible the pupil was spending too long looking into the far distance and just concentrating on the upcoming traffic lights. Therefore, they lost sight of their road position. Of course, this is where the pupil should be looking ahead, looking where they are going, scanning left and right, concentrating on their current road position and making sure they steer away from the parked car, allowing adequate clearance. So you would discuss this with your pupil. Then agree the balance of responsibility and let them try again. Maybe you'd circle back round to the same situation, or maybe you'd find more roads with similar situations for the pupil to practice allowing adequate clearance. Let's have a look at a different scenario. And we can see again the pupil gets way too close to the parked car. So in this case, you'd verbally or physically intervene as necessary and then discuss this with your pupil. In this example, let's consider why this happened. Where was the pupil looking? Well, there's a good chance the pupil was spending too long looking at the approaching vehicle and therefore lost sight of their road position and drifted towards the parked car. And of course, this is where the pupil should be looking ahead, scanning, looking at the available space and making sure they allow adequate clearance. You would need to discuss and explore this with your pupil so they understand what happened, why it happened, what the risks are, and what they need to do differently next time. And none of this is difficult. It's much easier than you would imagine. And the simplest way for you to learn how to teach pupils is to go to my website and buy my Part 3 video tutorials. You can easily learn all of this yourself without having to pay out for an expensive ADI training course with a big driving school. There's really no need to tie yourself into a contract. You don't even have to do role play. None of this is necessary. You can take responsibility for your own learning and learn how to teach pupils from watching my video tutorials. Like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I would really appreciate this. Liking and subscribing will certainly encourage me to make more videos for you, and it will also help other people find this channel. And do remember, when you're teaching pupils, just keep it simple and enjoy it.